Oh my god.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
What's going on, everybody? Mike Macabre. Welcome to Bump of the Night Studios, where we not only talk monsters, we make monsters. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 10 horror movies of 2023. So let's get right on into it, you guys. At number 10, we've got Exorcist Believer, man. And so many people ragged on this movie, right? Like, people were talking, and critics were talking like this was the worst movie they ever seen in their life, man. And this is why, you guys, we've got to come up with our own opinions and our own judgments and just watch things for ourselves and come up with our own conclusions, man. Because I personally really like this movie. I think a big mistake people made was going into this movie expecting they were going to get the original. And if you're crazy if you think you were going to get that. The original Exorcist came out 50 years ago in 1973. It shocked audiences. They never seen anything like that before. You know, so there's no way David Gordon Green and team was about to do the same thing they did 50 years ago. It's just impossible, man. I personally thought the story was fantastic, and I really, really like the message of the movie. At the end of the movie, there's a big message, and I caught that message. I love that message. It resonated with me. I thought this movie was fantastic, man. I don't care what anybody says. I got Exorcist Believer at number 10. On to number 9, we've got Knock at the Cabin. One thing I will say is I absolutely love when directors take a premise that we're all familiar with. For instance, in this movie, you know, it's apocalyptic, it's the end of the world type, you know, movie, which we've seen many times before. However, they put their own spin on it. I love when directors do that, you know. This movie's a lot more intimate. It all takes place at this cabin, only a few people in the movie, and it was fantastic, man. I thought it was great, man. So definitely not, it's not M. Night Shyamalan's best movie, but not his worst either, man. I really enjoyed this movie. So we got Knock at the Cabin at number 9. On to number 8, we've got Scream 6, and I really enjoyed this one, man. I think this is one of the better Scream sequels we got. And one thing I'll say about the Scream franchise is they haven't put out a bad movie yet, man. I mean, some of them are better than the others, but most of these movies are pretty good, right, man? And they got a good track record with making good movies, man. For being 6 movies in and they're still good says something, man. So you can't hate on Ghostface, man. Ghostface is still the man, yo. So I got Scream 6 at number 8. On to number 7, we've got The Pope's Exorcist, man. And I love Russell Crowe, dude. He is the man, and he is the man in this movie, yo. You know, obviously, like, he's like this old school exorcist, you know what I mean? So he's got this attitude in the movie where it's like, I've done this 1,000 times before, ain't nothing to me, you know what I mean? And he's like a comic relief in the movie too. Like, this movie actually had me laughing, you know, pretty hard at certain points, man. Russell Crowe is a gem, man. That guy is fantastic. This movie actually surprised me. You know, I was a little bit worried because, you know, how many possession movies and exorcism movies that we get, and some of them are just so terrible. This one was not, man. I really enjoyed The Pope's Exorcist. So we got The Pope's Exorcist at number 7. On to number 6, we've got Evil Dead Rise, man. I enjoyed this movie, man. Evil Dead's another franchise that has not put out a bad movie yet, right? The originals are fantastic. Army of Darkness is my favorite horror comedy of all time, man. And this one, you know, a great addition to the franchise, you guys. Evil Dead Rise was awesome, man. I thought they did a great job with the special effects. The mom looks super dope, man, after she became possessed. I love the way she looked, man. The movie just gets darker and darker as it goes on, man. Really enjoyed this one. We got Evil Dead Rise at number 6. On to number 5, we've got Saw X, man. I loved Saw X, man. In my opinion, Saw X is the best Saw movie we've gotten since the original, you guys. And that a big part of that is the fact that Tobin Bell is the main character again, man. I think a big mistake that the franchise made is killing Tobin Bell off in the 3rd one, man. Now, I understand he has cancer. It's part of the story. And he is in the later sequels in the flashback sequences. But let's be honest, man. Tobin Bell is the cornerstone of these movies. Tobin Bell is Jigsaw, man. So he should be the one creating and making these traps, and he should be the main focal point of the story, and he is in this movie, man. Thus, we've gotten the best Saw story that we've gotten since the original, man. Saw X. I absolutely loved it. On to number 4, we've got When Evil Lurks, man. This movie for sure is the most disturbing horror movie of the year. Hands down, 1000%. If you got a weak stomach, you guys, this is not the movie for you, yo. A lot of these, a lot of horror movies, there's still a line that people won't cross, you know what I mean? This movie does not give a crap, man. It crosses all those lines, you guys. There is nobody safe in this movie. This movie has no ceiling. It is crazy. It's an Argentinian film, so there is subtitles, which I'm not super fond of subtitles. However, this movie was so good, it didn't bother me, man. Absolutely was shocked by how darn good this movie was, man. Absolutely fantastic. The special effects were fantastic, man. Loved When Evil Lurks. On to number 3, we've got Talk to Me, man. And another movie where it's a premise that we all are familiar with, possession movies. However, they put their own spin on it, you guys, and I really enjoyed this one, you guys. The main character, the girl in it, she's very, very beautiful. She did a fantastic job in the role, man. Hope to see her in future films, man. This movie, one thing I love about it, and I don't want to spoil any of these movies for anybody, but this movie was not, not every movie has to end on a happy ending, you know what I mean? And I love when horror movies aren't scared to, kind of let the bad guy win, you know what I mean? And this movie was absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love this one. Talk to Me at number 3. On to number 2, we've got Cobweb. This movie right here has the best Halloween, autumn, trick-or-treat, dark tone. Has the best Halloween-y type vibe that I have seen in many, many years in a movie, man. The cinematography was beautiful. The acting was beautiful, man. The premise of the story was awesome. Super, super creepy, man. I really adored this movie. I only got one negative about this movie, and that's that they went CGI with the monster, man. It broke my heart, man. Oh my God, it hurt my feelings, man. You guys, there's so many good artists out there. Okay, just pay one of them to sculpt your monster, you guys. This movie would have been that much better. If this movie had a practical monster instead of CGI, easy, perfect movie, 10 out of 10 for me. I still give it an 8, 9 out of 10. I still absolutely adore this movie. I think this was definitely one of the best horror movies of 2023, down to the nitty gritty. On to number 1, we've got Sympathy for the Devil. Now, this might lean a little bit more towards the thriller side than the horror side. However, what I will say is not only horror, this is the best movie that I've seen in 2023. I don't care what anybody says. It's all opinionated at the end of the day, so there might be people who there probably is a lot of people who disagree with me and wouldn't have this at their number 1, but I do. I love Nicolas Cage, and he was absolutely phenomenal in this movie. We got Face Off Nicolas Cage in this movie, Mandy Nicolas Cage, and I love balls out crazy Nicolas Cage, man, and he is in this movie. He is completely 1000% bonkers in this, and I absolutely adored that. There's nothing better than crazy Nick Cage doing his thing. And this movie, it's titled Sympathy for the Devil, and one thing I've always said, and I've been saying this for years before this movie was ever even thought about being made, one of my favorite quotes is sympathy for the monster, because in my personal opinion, a man isn't at his most dangerous point in life when he's upset or irritated, right? As men, we get upset and irritated all the time. It's not unusual for a man to be mad. However, if you make a man sad and you break his heart, that is when he is at his most vulnerable. That is when he is at his most dangerous point in life. When he feels like there's nothing left to live for and his heart is just completely broken in half, his ability to empathize is non-existent. And this movie plays on that concept so Well, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. If you have not seen this movie, you have to check it out. So at number 1, I got Nicolas Cage, Sympathy for the Devil, as my number 1 movie this year. So, you guys tell me what you think. Do you agree with the list? Do you disagree with the list? At the end of the day, it's all opinionated, so we can talk about it, man. Let me know in the comment sections how you feel, you guys, man. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button for me. Once I hit my subscriber goal, I'm going to be raffling off this mask right here, you guys, completely for free. I will even cover shipping, meaning all you have to do to be part of the raffle to win this mask is hit that subscribe button. So you guys, do me a favor. Take a second of your time and hit the button for me, man. Please do me that favor. I would super appreciate it, you guys. Hit the button for me. Just hit the button. Listen, I appreciate you guys, man. Until next time, Mike Macabre signing out. Y'all take care.